Hey everybody, welcome back to another JBoz gaming video. This is your host JBoz, and today we're going to talk about a map strategy for Hidden Valley. This is the newest map that Wargaming has brought back. It did exist before, so it is not new. But let's get into this and let's talk about how to attack this map. So just up front, this image that I've used is not the exact map that is used in the current game. It is close to accurate, but there are some differences. So I'm going to try to use this to just illustrate a general map strategy to you all. If I need to, I'll do another video in the future where I actually use the map from within the game to give you more accuracy. But in general, I think this will work. So there obviously are three types of battles. Destruction, obviously, is there are no cap flags, and there wouldn't be any of these on the map. When you're in an encounter battle, there will only be the white cap circle in the city. And then a standard battle is you have opposing team cap circles in the corners of the map, one being in the northwest corner, the other being in the southeast corner. And today I've represented green in the southeast corner and red in the northwest corner. So attack routes. So let's switch this to green. Let's look at green attack routes. There are attack routes down this road, right? And this side of the map, if you will. And there, of course, are offshoots to this because you can actually go into a little valley here on this side. I call this area the main valley, okay? So there is an attack route through the main valley straight to the opposing team's cap circle. And then, of course, there are the different routes through the city to the opposing team's cap circle, obviously, that you can take, right? So kind of three main attack routes. What I would say is the key to this map is this area over here. This area over here offers more protection than any other area in the map. So whoever generally wins this area, we'll call it the GF line, because F and G run through it. This is key. And there is a brawl point, and let me kind of circle that so you kind of get a sense of where that is. There is a brawl point right in this area. There's a little mound or with some protection here, a little dip in the side valley here with a road that runs through and over that hill, and then some trees and a slight hill here. This is where a lot of the heavies will encounter each other trying to take this flank. It is kind of a choke point on this side of the map because from here you can kind of guard what I'll call the upper valley. And the lower valley is the most dangerous area of the map. Clearly, this is wide open territory, and placing tank destroyers at either end for either side can hold this valley. So that's why I do not recommend most attacks coming from the middle of the map. It is very easy to defend the middle of the map with a few tanks. So you can take your entire force down here, and you only need 2 or 3 defenders to hold the valley. The same is true of the city. Again, you have to come out of the city at either end. So if you have any positioned defensive units, you can hold anybody coming out of the city as well. So I know that there are people that think that the key to this map is to rush over, get in this city, and work your way through the city, eventually getting to the cap circle. That can work on limited defenses if they haven't placed enough units and don't know how to place the units at the ends of the valley. But for the most part, the way to win this map is to win this area right here. Once you've won this area, it doesn't matter whether it's an encounter battle or a standard battle, because once you've won this area, you control the map. You can now snipe into an encounter battle with openings in the mountains from either end of this upper valley into the lower valley and into the city, and if it's an encounter battle, into the encounter circle. So just know that you can really win this map, and the key to this map is winning the upper valley and really dominating this space. So how to do that? All right, well, let's talk about each tank type. Artillery, we'll start with those. Our artillery sit back behind the cap. Let me do this in green. So here's a green artillery. They'll sit back here, and they will have shots into this upper valley. They will also have shots into the valley, which again is why the valley is not a completely safe place. They can reach into the city, though. You can use buildings as already safe structures. But generally, the green arty are going to sit behind their cap and shoot into the upper valley. The red artillery will do a similar thing and sit back here behind their cap circle and also be able to get shots into the upper valley and shots into the lower valley as well as the city. So arty has pretty good opportunity on this map, shall we say. And the other units, such as light tanks, should be the ones rushing up to spot the enemy. So, for example, most light tanks should probably head up this line down the J to the H to the G to the F lines, progressing up here. And by the time they hit the brawl point, they're probably going to start spotting people coming around this area here. So they can either get hauled down or get held up against a rock or start to eliminate the enemy. The other opportunity you have is to move down into this upper valley, right, and do your running tactics around the rocks that are here, eliminating as many enemy as you can. You will bring up heavies, mediums into what I'll call the brawl point. And that's where they'll do the bulk of the fighting and winning this flank. The same is true of the red team, as they will push their heavies and mediums into this point as well. There is a secondary kind of route in that you can go down into the valley and come up. Oops, let me undo that, and we'll turn this to green again. There is where you can come up, and these are like bamboo trees. You come through and then into this upper valley as well. Same is true on the red side. If we're using red attacking here, they have the opportunity to also come up a secondary route as well. So they can do obviously what green is doing, and then it's a balanced map in that sense. There's no real different routes, so to speak. But what I will say is that these areas here are kind of choke points. You can't travel or traverse down this. It's a bit of a cliff or a hill. You can slowly do it, but you can't just fly up it or down it. But it gives you shooting opportunity. So if you win this here, you have opportunities to shoot into the lower valley from all of these spots. So let's say you're red and you've won this, and you've got people trying to come back to your cap circle. You can defend your cap circle from this upper valley. And if you're green and have won the upper valley and you have red trying to traverse to your cap circle, again, these are defensive points that you can use to hold your cap. So you can see that the left side of this map gets more heavily weighted than the other sides of the map. Even in an encounter battle, the goal is to win this as quick as possible so that you can then defend the encounter circle by these choke points, right? Because you can shoot down into the encounter circle from these locations. So artillery is behind the cap circles. Heavies and mediums have moved up into the brawl point. Light tanks have done their job and tried to spot the early onslaught of each enemy's attack. And they will also run through potentially spotting anybody they can in the upper valley. And then, of course, if they need to, they'll also run back and defend the cap. I do not recommend light tanks going through the city. I do not recommend light tanks going through the lower valley. And if you need to traverse those areas, do so quickly. Don't linger. So that leaves the last kind of category of tank, and that's the tank destroyer. Tank destroyers are highly important on this map because appropriately placed, they can hold the entire 2/3 of the map. So for example, I would not bring my tank destroyers up into the upper valley because they are not as useful here. And now you can bring them up here and you can use them here. They just aren't as useful because the line of sights are shorter here. There's more defensive areas for tanks to get behind rocks or hills and so on. So the tank destroyers aren't quite as effective on this upper valley. But on this lower valley, tank destroyers can be quite deadly. In fact, there is a small hill right in this area that you can bring your tank destroyers up to if you're green. Or you can sit back at the edge of the maps and place tank destroyers along the back side here if you're green. So tank destroyers would sit, pick a green, there we go. And tank destroyers could sit back here, not in the river, but along the river's edge. You might even move a tank destroyer up here behind a hill, right, where he's hauled down. But all the tank destroyers, and they can hold this entire valley, okay? Same thing here with the red. You can put tank destroyers here, here, or here, and they can hold this whole valley. If either tank destroyer gets even further up, and you can place a tank destroyer in this area here, then now you have even further sight vision to even shoot deeper into the cap circle, and vice versa. There is an area to move the red tank destroyers up as well. And I know it's not red, but in this area, so you can actually shoot into the cap circle area. But be very careful, and only do this when you think you've cleared out the valley, because again, the tank destroyers sitting further back are going to be able to eliminate almost anybody in this open lower valley. But this is the key to holding this lower valley and city, is the tank destroyers. And so the tank destroyers should really position themselves at the end of the valley and be able to shoot anybody that traverses through the valley or comes through it head on. So that's it, guys. The key to this map is this upper valley. You don't have to win the choke point, but you do have to ultimately win control of this portion of the map. And once you do so, you can now make progress further to the cap circle, or you can now shoot back. If it's an encounter battle, you can now shoot back onto the encounter cap. So yeah, straightforward. Hopefully you found this helpful. Hopefully this helps the Hidden Valley map run a little smoother for you. If you have any questions, please let me know. Put them in the comments below, or attend a Gunner JBoz live stream and ask me about map strategy. Always willing to take questions there as well. If this has been helpful, please hit that like button. If you like what we're doing here at JBoz Gaming, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, as that helps the channel grow. And of course, you can hit the bell button, or ring the bell, as they say, to get notification of when the next video drops. Until next time, guys, happy tanking, and we'll see you in the next one. Appreciate it.